welcome to the channel. Many of you are wondering why you're here, and I decided that I'm gonna share some tips that I learned from becoming couch potato to marathon runner. Yeah, you may wonder why I got into this mess. Little backstory. So, I'm a people pleaser. And back in like 2023, I would run with my attending after work. And I think like we ran at most 5 miles once. And he's like, you know what we should do? And I was like, what? He's like, we should run a marathon. And this guy, this is not his first rodeo, okay? He's already ran at least one marathon before. But me, I was just proud of myself for running up to 5 miles once, okay? I'd only run like 5Ks. And because, like I said, I am a people pleaser, I was like, you want us to run a marathon? Okay, let's do this. And of course, you know, first marathon, hadn't run more than 5 miles once. I had been literally like couch potato for months before because I was studying for a big exam. So like when I wasn't at work, I was just studying either at home or coffee shops, and I would make that an excuse to not work out. So really, I went from 0 to like 120. And he's like, yeah, our first marathon is going to be the Pittsburgh Marathon. So for those who don't know, and those who are in the running community already are well aware, that the Pittsburgh Marathon is very, very hilly. And I don't live in a very hilly place. So again, only running 5 miles once, I now have to run an extremely hilly marathon, and it doesn't even get worse until like about mile 11, mile 12. So I was just like, anyway, I got really injured. That was fun. But it sounds like it's the same thing that happens to quite a few people who go from like 0 to 100 with running a marathon. So I just wanted to chat a little bit. So if you decide that you want to, you know, be one of those millennial Gen Zer girlies and run because like your friends are doing it, be a little smarter than me, okay? So long story short, like halfway through, I was really struggling. Like my IT bands were like flaring up, which was causing issues with my knees and my hips. I went to PT and they're like, you have no gluteus medius. Because again, couch potato and marathon running is just not a good thing, okay? It's just not, it's not. So I highly recommend just looking up like PT exercises online to really work those gluteus medius. If one thing, like if your gluteus medius are super weak, other muscles will start compensating, and that's what leads to all the injuries. So for me, by like after 10 miles of running, I was dead. I would have to like rest for the rest of the day. And don't even get me started with like the above 10 miles. Like I remember doing like a 15-mile run, and like between miles 13 and 15, I could only walk, and like it would just get worse and worse as I tightened up. So don't do that, because then you're gonna have to pay for expensive PT, and that's not fun. Like, no. Second tip is when you're doing your marathon training, like find a good training tool that is easily flexible. So there were a few training tools that I was looking at, and I ultimately chose the Nike Running Lab. Shout out to Coach Bennett, who's helped us all, so many of us, through half marathon and marathon training. I love checking off boxes, and that means I ran 5+ workouts a week, and then on the other days I would try to like throw in like a weight workout in between. But of course I was running too much, not giving my body enough time to rest. and I overdid it, essentially. So now, you know, I have a few races coming up in the next few months, and I've actually just cut down my running to about 3 times a week, which has worked out really, really well. I just finished my half marathon training mark. So I'm running 2 half marathons and then 1 10-miler this upcoming running cycle, but I'm still training for a marathon. I don't know if that's smart. Again, I live and learn and hopefully let y'all know what works and what doesn't, for my body at least. Take everything what I say with a grain of salt, because I'm not a physical therapist. I'm not like a race expert. This is just me learning on the job. For me, running 3 days a week and then supplementing the other days with core training, like ab workouts, really continuing my physical therapy, even though I'm not seeing them anymore, that's actually really, really helped my running. I feel stronger. I feel like I have more stamina. I don't have any IT issues, like IT band issues, etc., etc. Next tip is buy a foam roller early on. I didn't even know what foam rolling was. Go look up YouTube videos. I got my foam roller from Marshall's for like $7 to $10. And you really, really want to get those glutes. Because again, if your glutes are too tight and they're not allowing for the gluteus medius to do what it needs to do, you're gonna have injuries, and you don't want those. After every workout, you should be stretching and foam rolling. Foam rolling is not fun. I'm not saying it's fun, but it's good for you, so. Next tip is, if you have the money, get a Theragun or something similar to that. Again, for that test that I was studying for, my brother actually bought it for me as like a little gift. So I've been using that nonstop. It really helps with the lactic acid and just making sure that my muscles aren't so tense. So yeah. And then a few other tips, just finding like what fuel works for you. A lot of people love GU, and I absolutely hate it. I think it is nasty. I think it is so difficult to like get that super slimy like gel down your throat. I have to like drink half a bottle of my Hydro Flask, and I think I have like a 32-ounce bottle. So that's a lot before running. So I recommend just trying different fuels, or you don't even need to try different fuels. You can get your favorite candy and have that on the road. So for me, I have like a whole bag of fuels, and my boyfriend actually bought me extra things for me to try because I started doing like a little fuel review, and that's kind of like also motivation for me doing my long runs, because your girl needs motivation, okay? Like, nah, I can't do this alone. So anyway, favorite things that I love are my Clif Block Gels. They have sour versions, which are new, and I'm obsessed with them. So you'll always see me with the Clif Gel. I'm also a fan of Honey Stingers, which was actually one of the like race sponsors for the Pittsburgh Marathon. So I was able to get quite a few Honey Stingers at the expo and on the race trail for free. And then for like actual gels, so these are like chews and stuff, but for gels, I'm really into UCAN. So UCAN was actually made by, I think it was a scientist who was trying to find something for a kid that had like a genetic disorder that could not have like regular glucose because it would spike their insulin levels. And so they created this, and it's great for those with diabetes. So highly recommend UCAN, but it does have like a chalky flavor to it. But for me, most of their stuff, these are new, like the mocha and the vanilla latte. I generally go for like their like unflavored or like fruity flavors. Those are pretty like sour, and I'm more of a sour girly. So yeah, highly recommend just trying out different gels and stuff. I'm gonna be trying these salt stick electrolytes that I have not tasted before. And then, of course, the Martin gels. Have not tried them myself. These are apparently, I used to live in Dallas, and they called it like the Highland Park version of gels. So if you're from the Dallas area, you know what that means. Next tip, find a good pair of running shoes. For me, when I started running, my dad was so excited. He's like, oh my gosh, she's no longer being lazy. She's actually doing something with her life. And I was like, thanks, Dad. And he was apparently a runner as well. He was long distance running. Like when I was in high school, I did crew, I ran track and field, like 400 meters. Yeah, that was me. Like I was never a long distance girly until now. So he took me to one of the running stores that I had been to like my entire life. They had fitted me for track and field. I was there for Christmas time and he's like, you're gonna get some shoes that will work for you. I apparently was wearing very, very wrong shoes that were A, too tight, and B, too old to run in. And that was part of the reason why I was having a lot of issues. I ended up having plantar fasciitis on like using those shoes. So I got professionally fitted and I am now obsessed with Asics Nova Blast. So these are the ones that I actually wore to the Pittsburgh Marathon. I also traded it off with another pair, so I had 2 pairs while training. And then this past winter, I went back and I got some Asics Nova Blast 5. So these are the 4s and these are the 5s. I'm really excited to try these. I have not started running in them, but I'm gonna probably start running them in like the next few weeks because my first half marathon is going to be in March. And you know what's funny? I ran a marathon before I even ran a half marathon. What the heck? So anyway, find great shoes because that is going to affect A, how you run, B, your injuries, and C, you wanna make sure that like you have enough room for your foot to expand because while you're running, you start swelling up, etc., etc. So get a good shoe. Another tip is find a good pair of socks. I'm obsessed with Balegas. So I just bought some Features socks from Pacers. So I'm excited to try those as well because people are raving about them. So we'll see which one I like. Lots of Balegas. We'll try these Features. I only buy them when they're on sale. And if you go to your local running store, oftentimes you can find a really good deal for these, but they help me so I don't get any blisters. I think the only time I got a blister was actually very recently while I was doing my 13-mile run on the treadmill. Don't even get me started. It was raining and dark, and I don't like running in the dark, especially as a woman. So I did get a blister then, but I think that was partially because of how I laced up my shoe. Yeah, run with friends. We did this marathon with actually a few other colleagues, and it was so hard, but also so much fun. I really learned a lot about myself. I learned that A, just having something to like keep me motivated is really helpful. So like having that marathon scheduled, I was less likely to cancel my like workouts. So I was more inclined to maintain my workout routine. So of course, since I was training for a marathon, working full time, and then studying for this huge exam, time management was very, very important in my running journey. And I recognized that I needed the afternoon times to study. And so I pushed up. I used to be like an afternoon workout person, and I pushed up my workouts to the morning, and I did not realize how important that was for my mental health. Like starting the day, yes, I had to learn how to like wake up early, go to bed early, but starting my day and just getting my run done not only like made me feel like, okay, I can check something off of my list for today, but it made me feel so accomplished. Like, yeah, I finished that run and I'm ready to get the day going. So it made my day so much better. Like it started off good, and I recognized later that I was like more willing to be more active throughout the day. Also really nice to just have some time for yourself. I would wake up at around like 5:30ish before going to work, and it gave me about 2 hours to take me time before I had to get into the thick of all the work stuff. And then running long distances, I did not realize, just gave me clarity when I was trying to think through things. There was one time I had some pretty difficult news that I had to kind of work through, and I just went on my 18-mile run, and that was probably like one of the nicest things that I could have done for myself. It made me look at the situation more objectively than subjectively, and then with like emotions and stuff. So yeah, it became like a lifeline for me for my mental health, which my mental health was not the best when I started running, just because I was juggling so many things and then life and stuff. So yeah, running was really like a safe haven for me, which was really weird because I never saw myself as like a long distance runner. I hated running. Everyone told me like, no, like you should run. I'm like, hell no, like running is boring as heck, blah, blah, blah. So now look at me, like I have three races, one in March, one in April, and one in May. And then another tip is find what you like to listen to. Like I started out running, listening to music. I realized that sometimes your music can actually hurt you, because if you're listening to like really good pump up music, you may be running too fast, and you don't want to be running too fast during your training. You don't want to hurt yourself. Like keep that for the marathon or for your speed runs. So I ended up starting to listen to a lot of audiobooks or like podcasts, and that actually was so surprising, because like when someone told me early on when they would run and I was never like that long distance runner, they're like, yeah, you know, I love listening to an audiobook. And I was like, ew, how? Like I would like go off into the ether or whatever, like with my mind just going everywhere. But now I look forward to it. Like I read The Fourth Wing, not proud to share that, while I was running. Read a lot of good books while I was running. But yeah, running's fun. Odd to say. It's like, and maybe I do this because I just apparently like pain, but running's hard and it's painful at times, but like the endorphins are worth it. Like, I don't know. I love it. And then another tip, when I was back in Dallas that first time that I told my dad, I signed up for a marathon, just FYI. He was like so excited, but also wanted to keep me safe. So he bought me some Shokz headphones. And if y'all don't know what this is the bone condensing headphones, so you can hear your surroundings. This is so important when you're running on the trail or when you're running in traffic. You want to hear your surroundings. When I'm running outside, I will always wear these. These are also waterproof, which is really nice. For those who are watching this, when I first posted, I heard that Costco actually started selling these for like $70, which is a steal. So don't walk, run. Do you see what I did there? Run to your Costco and buy some Shokz headphones. And it's just so nice because like for me, I love like when I'm done running, like I'll just put it here, you know? And you don't have to carry it. And then a lot of places, like a lot of runs that you may sign up for, they actually don't allow in-ear headphones because it's like a safety hazard. So I've heard people being disqualified if they were wearing those in ear pods. So yeah. And then if you are going to be running long distances, like longer than 7 to 10 miles, or if you're running over an hour, people recommend bringing like a pack or like a water bottle or something. I don't like carrying stuff like in my hands when I'm running. It's extra stuff to worry about. So I bought the Spy hydration pack. I was not a huge fan of the Spy belt just because I like to bring a lot of crap with me, which I know is bad. I know it's bad. But like, where else am I gonna put all my little shoes and stuff and have my bottles? So this has gone with me through a 10-miler race, and then my boyfriend wore it for our marathon, and I wear it most of my like long distance training until I'm like, maybe like when I get into like 15-ish miles, then I will switch to my vest that I got from, what's it called? From REI. So this is the Osprey vest, and then it just has like a little water pack in the back, and it has a lot of pockets, which I really like. So you can put your phone in there, you can put extra gels, all that good stuff. Lastly, when I ran the marathon, I thought I was gonna be drinking a lot, and I don't know why I didn't. And so all the electrolytes that I had, I wasn't really drinking as much. My boyfriend had to remind me, don't forget, you need to be drinking. And he thankfully brought these pills, like electrolyte pills, that I was able to quickly just take and drink a few sips of water, which I think in the long run, like, made the marathon not be as difficult. My marathon run was actually one of the easier runs. The hardest run for me was my 20 miler, and I'll get to that in another video because this is getting pretty long. But yeah, you too can go from being a couch potato to a marathon runner. I recommend it. I'm getting a lot of my friends into running. We're running a few of those races that I mentioned earlier. So I have 2 races in DC, 1 in New York City. I'm really excited. And yeah, I'm excited to see where this journey takes me. I will try to put my running stuff on here because, like I said, I'm learning as I go. And it's a nice hobby, you know? I have too much time on my hands currently, and I need to figure out how to deal with that. Too much time, and I'm very stressed, so. No, it's almost done. Anyway, this is too long, so go run. And if you start running, I want to hear about it in the comments. Tell me what you learned. Tell me your favorite run, or yeah, or if you're just excited to learn how to run. Because again, I had not run over 5 miles before signing up for a marathon. So if I can do it without like working out for months, you can too.